Good morning, good morning, good morning. The master procrastinator has finally arrived. Dude, y'all, so I decided to change up my morning routine a little bit. And I was like, well, I really would like to start having topics to talk about. And me and Rob did all that rune work with his runes this weekend, trying to come up with ideas. I was like, you know what? I'm going to, take some of his advice on how he worked with his runes, and I'm going to do it with mine. I grabbed one this morning, and then I was like, oh, and I grabbed harvest first. So I was like, what is that supposed to mean? It's not harvest season right now. And then I was like, all right, so I'll grab two. And I grabbed another one, and this is the male rune. And I was like, all right, so I keep getting this reoccurring theme coming in constantly about the Oak King and the Holly King, right? So as I was meditating on this while I was walking around, I also decided that I would go ahead, and I told y'all about texting yourself. These was what I was downloading while I was walking this morning. All right. So I got the harvest rune and the male rune to start out with. And then I got to thinking, I was like, the two kings and the one goddess. And the goddess needs to take a nap. That was the main entrance that I got, right? And I giggled at that really hard. And like, this is the rabbit hole I go into. So I got the two kings and the one goddess, and the goddess needs to take a nap during the winter. And it's really about a shifting of the seasons, a shifting of the energies. Not only does the energy shifting from the Oak King to the Holly King, the energy is also shifting where the goddess is really out there to the goddess sometimes needs to take a nap, depending on where you are in the world and where you are in your cycles. You know, if you've been going really hard for a really long time, it might be time to take a nap, right? If you're in a feminine energy. Or take a break from using feminine energy for a while if you're a masculine. Like, try to back off it a little bit. You know, she does take a rest. She rests from autumn to spring. Or she is in a crone phase, right? Okay, and then I went into notes from here. So I wanted to look it up because I do want to put this into the full moon video that I'm getting ready to work on too. I want to work on that today. Plus, I got crafts and stuff I got to make. Dude, guys, y'all, I got a lot of stuff going on over here. I got to finish glazing those things I made for the festival. Anyway, it just really got me thinking of how the energies shift back and forth, right? So you get the Oak King and the Holly King. And the mother, the maiden, the crone. So the mother, the maiden, the crone always exists around at the same time, right? There's always a crone. She's the one with all the knowledge on deliveries and things like that. There's always the mother, the woman that's in her childbearing years. There's always the maiden, you know, the one that's not really a child anymore, right? The adolescent. And the two kings battle each other twice a year. So the Oak King battles in spring when he comes in, right? Because holly is an evergreen, but it's it blooms in the winter or when it gets cold in autumn, right? So the Oak King takes out the Holly King in spring, and that's when he's most fertile. So babies conceived between Beltane and Lilitha will be born during spring in Ostar, during Imbolc and Ostar, during the planting seasons, right? The Holly King then defeats the Oak King in autumn, right, between Mabon and Samhain. That's when he comes into power. He takes over. Babies conceived around that time will be born between Lilitha and Candlemas, the two harvest seasons. So it's really this cycle of things that is going on right now. And then I got into thinking about, you know, it's all cycles and shifts and seasons and things of that nature. I'll get into more of that stuff in the actual moon video on the other channel. I did have here, though, the last thing I channeled out was, you know, we're not in a harvest season. And that's why I got confused when I pulled the harvest ring. I'm like, what did that possibly mean? Because we're not in a harvest season right now. What season are we in? We're in the winter seasons. So that's really all about removing and cutting out dead loss. Dark Nerd is just not talking today. Right? You got to go and cut back the dead loss. You have to. That's the only way to make your plants grow. And it is the time of year that people do that, right? In farming areas, you'll do this thing where they put out ryegrass, and it's just to put out to die. That's all it's planted for. It just hits a certain stage because it's planted so late in the season. As soon as the frost hits, it kills it. But it leaves nutrients in the soil. Along with doing that, like in ancient cultures, you get the sacrificing of 9 of every animal. And people were always like very weirded out by that whole concept because it would be 9 of every animal and 9 people. Like that's how they honored killing all those animals, right? Also, the reason for killing all those animals was to reduce the amount of livestock needed to be fed throughout the winter and to produce enough food to dry and store to get them through when they weren't going to be able to hunt. So, and as for the 9 humans, they were all volunteers, and I think we can all really wrap our minds around people volunteering for shit like that back in the day. What did I say? Right? Intentions invoked and planted now will bring rebirth in spring. Things that you were planting over the last few months will be being reborn in spring. So you'll have the Holly King will be reborn on Yule. And then the goddess Maiden comes into her power in spring. But the Holly King doesn't get the Maiden. He gets taken out by the. He doesn't get killed by the Oak King, but he loses the battle to the Oak King because Holly King is actually an evergreen. He's around all year long. But the Oak King comes into his height of power, and he wins out. In making the Maiden the mother. A nice way of putting that, right? I don't know what relevance this has for you guys today, but it's just what I've been channeling with the moon energy that's building up right now. I'm getting a lot of requests about fertility stuff too, so maybe that's why I got baby brain. I'll tell you. My son is considered a year king because he was conceived on the Beltane. His father was born on Yule. My daughter was conceived on Lilitha, and she was born right before Ostara on the Ides of March. I was born on Ostara. I was laughing too. I was like, it's messed up because babies conceived on the Beltane are considered to be year kings, and that would make them mostly Capricorns and Aquarians. My son was supposed to be born as an Aquarian. He was actually, his due date was my dad's birthday, but instead the universe did everything in its power to force him out in Capricorn season. It's almost like he fought it tooth and nail, though. Excuse me, y'all. All right. See, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Because on one side, right, so on the 3D line here, we got the dark hearts in the middle reversed. Like either a connection that's looked on as dark or a connection that has gone dark. Like it's still there, but it's gone dark, right? On one side of it, we got the Queen of Cups and the Eight of Swords. It was like I'm nurturing and she's in her power, right? But she is trapped on one side of this wall. On the other side of the wall, we have the King of Pentacles reversed and the Jack of Hearts reversed. And a lot of the messages that I was getting in was when I was saying the goddess needs to take a nap is, yes, we have been spending a lot of time empowering women and working on our inner strength and, demanding better from your partners and things of that nature and everything else. But we also have to recognize where we've been a pain in the ass. And at times where you need to be the one to concede every now and then. You need to be the one to be extra nurturing. You need to be the one that needs to be the Queen of Cups and being taken care of, If you're in a union with somebody and one person feels like they're in their power and the other person doesn't, you need to figure out how to balance out that dynamic that's going on right now. What if you're not in a relationship? I am not sure. Let's see what the 4D has to say about that, right? What about the people that this is all up in their heads? The Ten of Cups reversed. Prince of Cups reversed. Strife in the middle. So over what was clearly like the feminine side of this energy right now, you got the Prince of Cups reversed and the Ten of Cups reversed. But you're not happy and you're not sending out any love, happy energy right now. There's strife in between you guys. Like whenever you think about the connection, strife comes up, right? For some reason, just thinking about them irritates the shit out of me. The other side, they're not in their power because they keep trying to walk away. But like I said, in this deck, this is Eidolons' laziness, right? So it's like, I refuse to work on this connection or look at this connection or acknowledge this connection, just mainly because I don't want to deal with it. But in recognizing it, then I have to actually deal with it and process whatever it is. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to appear to just be walking away. But I'm half-assedly doing it because it's the end of a dock. These cups, you still got to come back. You still got to step back over. So if they were hard to walk away from this time, when you walk past them again, and here's the thing, One of them cups you weren't supposed to walk away from. But and this bitch on this side's not offering it again. That was for someone in particular, I'm sure. Was the 5D line going over? Excuse me. Believe it or not, there's a ton of pollen. If you don't know, I posted all the blooming flowers that I saw today on my Instagram. We've got Judgment, Nine of Swords, the Empress here in the middle, Page of Cups, Four of Pentacles. So what is going on here is I really do feel, because this is all over, like if we do the division here, one side has made solid judgment on what they think is going on. And though they're not really particularly happy about the way things worked out, they are accepting it, right? Right. Everybody is accepting that they are going to nurture where they are at and work on the environments they are within right now. Because even their side says, bitch, I ain't offering you no cups either. I just want to be stable for a while. Okay. So if everybody's going to call a truce, then let it go, right? I love that damn song. Sometimes it be like that. You know. And that's what I mean by you need to take a nap. You need to let energies shift. You need to let energies change. You need to take a break in certain areas. You need to set the new routine for the winter. You need to understand that everything that you have been invoking throughout really the big message I'm getting is anything that you were working around spring and summer, you need to invoke back up on that power now. Whatever intentions and things that you were focused on during Beltane to Lilith, right? That's what you should be focusing on in this moon. Because it's going to be getting a chance at a rebirth in spring. Okay? All right, y'all. That's all the time I have for today. I may get this moon video out today. I may not. We shall see. You never know. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and windy paths with me. I hope y'all enjoyed this. As always, like, share, subscribe, spank my bell, click the like button if you liked it. And, yeah, I know I'm a spaz. I love y'all, though. I do. Thank you.